Arriving from all over the Viking world to visit, trade and settle. In this multicultural society, people have different appearances, languages, religions and possessions. The remains of part of this thriving city were found right here, and by carefully piecing together all of the archaeological evidence and what we know from other sources, you can now visit the Viking Age.
Look, it's as if he's looking at you.
By the River Foss. Ahead lies the city with countless houses and workshops, many of them newly rebuilt. Some, like this damaged one, a victim of an unintended half-bout. As ships became more seaworthy, the Vikings created wider trading routes, sometimes using chains of middlemen to carry goods from one side of the Viking world to the other. Silks and a cowrie shell found here suggest trade with Central Asia, the Eastern Mediterranean and the Red Sea. It's possible that Arab traders, like this man, made their way to Jorvik to sell their goods. Slavers may have come to Jorvik from Dublin and elsewhere, bringing with them the spoils of their railroads or their countries. Slaves were an important part of society all over Northern and Western Europe at this time. It looks like this slave trader is trying to make his way up to Copperhead. But before we get there, let's have a look at some of the many craftspeople working here in the city. Here's Sigurd. He's using animal bones and anchor from deer to make some everyday objects such as combs, phone cases, skates and bone pins. Making a comb and anchor could be very time consuming, as the ones found here are made from many pieces riveted together and then decorated. We know that the Vikings liked to keep themselves well groomed, as we found many combs in the excavations, as well as items such as tweezers and even ear scoops. We'll now head away from the river towards the street of Copperhead and meet some more of the people who lived and worked as food in the yards, but they probably kept animals there, such as those pigs you can see in the pen by the fence. From the many pig bones we found here, we know that Viking pigs were quite short and had a long snout like a wild boar. Pigs will eat almost anything, so it would have been a great way to turn household waste into meat. Here's the blacksmith.
So look at them and look at
Look
us.
inside and you can see his wife by the fire. Grumman, the blacksmith, is teaching his son how to sharpen a knife he just made. Viking age smiths were masters of their craft, and here in Jorvik they made everything from needles to beautifully ornate handles. Now we'll go across to the next property and visit his neighbour, Unni, a woodturner who lives in one of the new-style wooden planked buildings out and lined with oak planks before the upper story is added. You can see a stack of turfs over there that are going to be used to roof this building. Looks like the builders are having a rest though.
Hey.
This family also look like they're
Minister
taking
A.
the children are being taught to play Nefertiti by their grandfather.
వీళ్ళు చెస్ ఆడుతున్నారు అప్పట్లో చెస్ ఉందా
We found a wooden gaming board and lots of playing pieces here.
Just
made from
equivalent.
gold, wood and ivory, so it must have been a popular pastime. Let's go back towards the river where big trading ships are that have come up from the North Sea.
Look at the
Here,
cat.
traders are unloading their goods alongside fishermen cleaning their catch. Goods and raw materials from across Britain, as well as rare and valuable items from further afield, were brought into Jorvik here. The face has been reconstructed, based on the skull that was found in York. Later on in the visit, you'll see more real faces like this. This next plot is a backyard where the people living here seem to have been dyeing their own cloth. The people of Jorvik spoke. We are now entering one of the new style oak plank buildings. We're still discussing whether these buildings were one or two stories, but they all have rooms or cellars below ground level. As we travel through this two-roomed house, you can imagine that the floor at the back is being built, and you can see the cellar below where goods are stored. Above this sunken
One
room,
beauty
the
there and
window
the two
openings are only
beauties are
small,
here.
So, as you can see,
Sibu,
it would
see
have been
it?
quite dark inside these houses. In addition to the hearth, small pottery lamps and wax candles were used to create light so that the people who lived here could carry out their everyday tasks. In this front room, you can see a woman working at the loom. Coppergate is just one of the many streets of this city, which was home to more than 10,000 people. The streets of the city of Jorvik are covered in filth and mud, rutted by carbon
Smell of something,
everywhere. This leather worker seems to be having a problem sewing his shoe pieces together. It looks like he has Viking's disease, or Dupuytren's contracture. You can see it's caused the fingers on his hand to become clawed. It's a genetic disorder that runs in families and seen particularly in middle-aged men. Tradition has it that it originated with the Vikings, who spread it throughout Northern Europe and beyond as they travelled and intermarried. This couple here are arguing about what to have for supper, meat or fish. It would seem that life hasn't changed too much over the last 1,000 years. They're arguing in Old Norse, but if you listen carefully, you can hear Old English, Middle Welsh and Old Irish all being spoken in this street. Here's a food seller trying to sell this wealthy-looking woman a cabbage of some sort. It doesn't due to her hip problems and arthritis. You can find out more about her in the galleries to come. They worship their pagan Norse gods, but they seem to have adopted Christianity quite quickly. There is lots of evidence for there being a Viking-era church just behind Coppergate, and there were many other new churches built in Jorvik at this time. Here's a priest administering last rites. He would always have worn a stole around his neck, as seen here, as it marked his priestly status. We found a very small silver ink cut similar to ours, with lots of beef, pork and mutton, as well as poultry and fish. Supplying this food may have been one of the reasons for the major changes in the countryside we see around Jorvik at this time. In this backyard, animals have been slaughtered to provide meat and other resources. Body parts of cattle must have been a fairly familiar sight and smell around Viking Age Europe. As well as supplying meat, cattle carcasses also provided corn and iron, both valuable resources for making everyday items. Here, we are in our final house. In the excavations at Coppergate, we found a few Viking Age musical instruments, including a set of panpipes which can still be played. Music, saga telling and poetry must have been important in the Viking period. Icelanders know.
That's why all the fossils. Hello.
Hello, Sridevi.
Why can't be silent? No dialogues. And concentrate on the pretty things, not on me.
You're also a pretty thing, baby.
Sad. How are you? Basically, your table is very slow, and the fast guy is it's not done.